What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. They lied to us. They lied to us. And I'm not surprised. I am going to do my best while I'm still here in America, and even once I move to Africa, to continue to point out "I told you so" on this administration. Because I was ringing the alarm back during the primaries. I've been ringing the alarm since 2016. They didn't want Bernie Sanders. They want a corporate candidate. The goal of the American government, it doesn't matter if they're Democrat or Republican, is they don't want you, the American people, to have anything. Their goal is never to govern. It's only to facilitate big corporations, multinational corporations, big pharma, big oil, their donors, the wealthy. The rest of us don't matter. You have to understand that. And I predict that there's going to be another attack on the Capitol. But it's not going to just be these crazy yahoos, racist Republicans. It's going to be everyday Joe citizen. Because people have had it. These people, their intent is not to govern. They want to be able to always have an excuse. That's why they land on one dude all the time and say, we could get this done, but it's Paul Ryan who won't do it. Oh, it's Mitch McConnell who's holding up the entire country of 328 million people. It always comes down to one person. Oh, it's Nancy Pelosi. It's always one person. And you're like, wait, how is one person holding up the entire country? Now it's on Front Street. You're going to see it now. If you couldn't see it before, you're going to see it now. And I suggest to you, you're already seeing it. And that's why I'm here to lay the grid work so that you can see the borders and go, oh, now I see. Oh, I see it now. So let me try and do my work to achieve that goal. You'll recall that they said to us, well, let's go back. Because I can never live this down. So we have to start at 2016. We have to. Because we have to get the pathology right. And indeed, the wisdom and the evidence is in the pathology. It's all there. That's our smoking gun. So remember, Bernie was out there running in 2016. Sniper fire did the same thing that Joe Biden did. They were playing this little cat and mouse game of whether or not they were going to run. Both of them did the same thing. Excuse me. They both did the same thing. She did it in 2016. He did it in 2020. That little cat and mouse. Ooh, I'm not sure if I'm going to run. You know. Wait, did he run in 2016? I don't remember. Nobody cared. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, Bernie was out there getting these huge crowds. He's had more volunteers to his campaign than any campaign in the history of this republic. He had more donations to his campaign than any campaign in this republic, period. And he didn't take any corporate money, no super PACs, none of that. Bernie Sanders was getting money from just regular Joe Blow people like myself. That's it. He is the greatest candidate for president that never won. That's a fact. That's a fact. I'll say it again. He is the greatest candidate for president that never won. But he didn't win because they installed sniper fire. How's she going to be a candidate and the head of the party at the same time? So she took over the DNC. And they colluded with the media against Bernie, because this is all about corporate. Nobody you see on TV, from Anderson Cooper to any of them white bitches to any of the little gay dudes, Donna Lemon, it doesn't matter. All those are corporate people. Those are not just individual journalists telling you what the news is. They're following a script that supports the overarching agenda of the elite. Hear me now. Hear me. So when they get the memo to don't show Bernie Sanders, talk about him in negative terms, don't mention his poll numbers, skew the information, all of that. Was it Ed Rend? No, who was the guy, the big guy that used to be on MSNBC? Ed something. Loud guy, told the truth. Ted, was it Ed or Ted? Oh man, y'all know who had the southern, got a little kind of like, kind of hefty looking dude. Anyway. He lost his job because he was covering Bernie Sanders, and they pulled him away from the interview saying, no, we're not covering that. And there's a whole backstory that I can't articulate well enough to give you the full information on that. Anyway, then they did the same thing in 2016. Before Sniper Fire was even in the race, they were showing her in the polls. Like, Bernie's out there on the trail. People are supporting him and he's doing it all. She's sitting somewhere, doing nothing. And yet they put her up as, Hillary's polling, her polling, like, she's not even in the race. She's not even in the race. But that was to scatter the mind of the weak and inferior intellect of the American public. Then they did the same thing with Joe Biden. He wasn't even in the race. Bernie was out there killing the game. And yet they were showing you what Joe Biden was polling at, and he hadn't even entered the race. Nobody knew if he was even going to run. He was playing the cat and mouse game. They wanted a corporate candidate. Then we fast forward, just for the sake of time, not because I want to. But we fast forward now. They then stack the Democratic field, the candidates that were running for president, with all these people who didn't have a chance in hell of winning and who didn't even want to be president. No chance of being president. It's just they didn't want to make the same mistake they made in 2016 when it was just Bernie and Sniper Fire. Because the numbers would be too glaring. Because they knew everybody that wanted Bernie, including independents and Republicans, those numbers were going to crush Joe Biden. We're going to crush him. So, quick, let's stack the field with all these people that don't have a chance in hell of winning. Let's put Elizabeth Warren out there and let her be kind of like Bernie, just to throw the people off the scent. And she's a woman, so we'll trick the women at the same time. When she doesn't have a chance, she doesn't have an intention of doing a damn thing for you at all. She's just a little mosquito bite chested ass twit who should go back to the library and die in a corner. That's who Elizabeth Warren is and was. Do you understand? Let's put the gay dude out there that doesn't have a chance in hell of winning with the black vote ever, but let's put him out there. You see? Let's put, and there, the list goes on. Let's put the Asian dude out there. He'll talk about math. And then he'll get a spot on CNN as a contributor immediately after he cancels his campaign. Did you notice how Andrew Yang went directly from I'm a presidential candidate with all this passion, allegedly, to poof, I'm a contributor to CNN? Did you notice that? No background in journalism. None. And this is the first time he's even run for office of anything. But he's suddenly now a political expert. He immediately gets a six-figure deal with the corporate elite media. This is the game, everybody. This is the game. Then Joe Biden, I brought you the articles. Joe Biden was out of money. Nobody was donating to his campaign. Nobody wanted him. This was his third time he'd run for president and lost. The other two times he couldn't even get out of Iowa. He only made it to be vice president because Obama picked him as his vice president. But he was in that same race that Obama was in that year, but he crashed and burned in Iowa. Crashed and burned. Now Super Tuesday was coming up. Bernie had already won Nevada. They tried to play games with the Latino caucus, the culinary workers, and the not just culinary workers and something else workers in Nevada that are all Latino. Well, their leadership was playing the political game with the elites and going along and saying, yeah, we're not endorsing anybody. But their rank and file said, go to hell. We support Bernie. And they did. And Bernie won Nevada. Now Super Tuesday comes around. Joe Biden was out of the race. But quick, let's roll out James Clyburn. Roll him out. This self-aggrandized slave-ass Negro who thinks white people like him, who always has his asshole oiled up and ready to go for massa on a moment's notice. He's no great man. He's just like John Lewis, a professional and career bitch. This is the hard truth, everybody. This is the hard truth. We have to tell the truth about everything and anybody. We're not concerned about opinions and feelings. We're not concerned. This is not the opinions and feelings channel. You understand? This is the truth. So let's roll out James Clyburn and let's now imagine some allegiance to Joe Biden that never existed among black people, since he's the guy who wrote the crime bill that is directly responsible single-handedly for the mass incarceration of African people in this nation, and why many of us can't vote now, because a lot of our brothers and sisters have felonies, and for little things like they had a little roach amount of weed or something. You see, this is the white devil that did that, and he's very proud of it. There was Kamala, non-black allegiance Harris, up there with her little emotional story. You know, when that first class that was integrated in the busing, I was that little girl, and it was supposed to be a moment, and then now you're at the side of the devil. Listen, anybody that has gone against me deliberately, I will never like you ever in life. It is anti-human and anti-righteous to embrace people who have deliberately and intentionally not had your best interests at heart. Mistakes are something else. People can transgress against you, really, and that wasn't their intention. We forgive that all day and bring them close to your side. There's nothing wrong with that. But deliberate? You never have a space in my universe. So, she's just a power-grabbing whore, is what makes her. You see? A power-grabbing whore. I even noticed, the shot they were showing, that walkway that they always show outside of the White House, the Oval Office, with the columns on one side and the building is on the other. Anyway, I noticed her husband was walking in front of her. It was a small thing, but it wasn't lost on me. She's the vice president of the United States. But in his mind, he's still an entitled white man. She looked like she was just an assistant or something. I was struck by the photo. I was struck by that. I don't know where I saw it. I don't know if they were just showing collage or something on TV or whatever. I can't remember. But she looked like an assistant, Not like that's the vice president. So they had that little dust up. And that was all drama. so to make you focus more on them and not on Bernie Sanders. They gave him the least amount of speaking time. They would change the subject so there wouldn't be issues that Bernie had strong support on. Then they would give him questions that were more of a indictment of him more than a question. He never could get a follow-up. When they did the questioning, other people could interrupt. Sadly, Bernie is a nice man and he won't interrupt. He's not the savage beast that these people are, sadly. And a lot of us were furious at Bernie and throwing things at our television because he wouldn't fight. And we have all been over our toilet profusely vomiting, projectile vomiting, if he had just said even one more time, Joe Biden is my friend. There was the emergency rooms across this country were full of people like me who were sick of hearing that. That was our diagnosis. Sick and tired of Bernie sucking up to Joe Biden, who was stabbing you in the back, Bernie, the entire time. Then they orchestrated it looked like something out of Glee or something, where they all suspended their campaigns and ran to the side of Joe Biden at the very moment that James Clyburn is proclaiming that he is the savior of black people. I brought you the evidence of people in South Carolina, where James Clyburn's bitch ass is from, proclaiming their love for Joe Biden, and when the reporter, who is really from some independent media online and not a shill or corporate media, was laying out his record to them, that, well, I have to do my research on that. No, heifer, you're not going to research anything, because you're a dead, lifeless vessel who's just withering in the wind and blowing aimlessly and wandering through life. You don't hold any knowledge, you don't hold any intellect, and you're just waiting to be used and told what to do and say. You should just die off, because you're taking up space on the earth. That's what it was about. Nobody was excited about this dude. Nobody was excited about this dude. Nobody. And we could almost, certainly it's not beyond the realm of intellectual prowess, to insinuate, while not giving an excuse or a license, but we could insinuate, hear this, we could insinuate that those people who still want to believe that Trump won, this would offer them a little bit of merit. There really was nobody at his rallies. We saw Trump was getting the big rallies and all of it, But it is a fact that Joe Biden was not getting any people. This is before pandemics and social distancing and all of it. This is before any of that. Nobody was showing up, just like Sniper Fire. She wasn't getting anybody at her rallies. That's why she was on listening tours, you see, where she could just be in somebody's living room, and that's a perfect excuse of why nobody's showing up for you, and why there's 3 people in the room. I cited for you that Joe Biden, literally, there was someplace he was speaking, and they were just going to speak in the conference room, and nobody showed up. They literally had people that worked in the building to come and fill the seats. Nobody was on fire for this dude. Nobody. Because you can't legislate human emotion. You can't legislate righteousness. And in this country, they don't. Like, the law is not written with the spirit of righteousness. That's another issue. Not so much, but it is, And so, his whole thing was restoring the soul of America. That doesn't pay your rent. That doesn't pay your rent. And even that is a production of fiction and fantasy, because the country is not divided. You have some people that are pissed off, and we saw them at the Capitol, and we know their numbers by the polls that they claim. They claim that 75 million people voted for the orange Cheeto. So 75 million people does not make 328 million. Just doesn't. You see? But they're bringing you into the fog against your will. And then you start saying, the country's so divided. I'm not divided. I'm the captain of my vessel. I stand at my gate. I'm not divided. Here, I'm not divided. I'm not divided. I'm chilling. I'm good. I'm not divided. The country's just in crisis. I'm not in crisis. I'm not. I'm not. As an African living in this white savage land, I exist in a state of rage, but that's something else. So they sell this fiction. Then they give you, no, it's all going to come down to Georgia because we won't be able to get anything done. For all the 4 years they've been blaming Mitch McConnell. Oh, look, it's Mitch McConnell. Even their president was saying, I want $2,000 checks for the people. Even the Orange Puff was saying it. The president of the United States, who they label the most powerful person, what do they say? He's the leader of the free world. Y'all know I hate that term. It sends me right to the hospital to be put on an IV and watch closely. He's the leader of the free world. So this little gizzard neck is the dude that's holding up everything. It's a game. You know? It's like you go to your dad. Dad, can I go outside and play? Go ask your mother. You can go ask your mom. Mom, can I go outside and play? Go ask your father. They're just playing this show game with you. Just go. Because they're just ping pong balling you and shit. You see, like, we don't have time for this. Well, that's what they've been doing and are doing. Oh, look, it's Trump that's doing all the obstructing. Then he goes along. And Nancy Pelosi goes, you down for it? We down for it. Here's a bill. Oh, look, Mitch McConnell won't do it. We just don't have the votes. Then you had Republicans in the House that were voting for the damn stimulus. Like, yeah, we good. We'll go for it. No, that's not good enough. We don't have a majority in the Senate. Then there they all were, begging you in Georgia, send these people to Congress so we can get all of our stuff done. But they didn't expect them to win. And were really hoping against it. So they could go all the 4 years and go, the Republicans are just obstructing and we just can't get anything done and it's Mitch McConnell. Until they won. Georgia flipped blue. Shout out to Stacey Abrams, the queen of everything. There's nobody else to put on the list, everybody. I'm sick of them adding people. This is single-handedly Stacey Abrams because she was the most impressive candidate for governor ever in the history of ever. Her election was stolen, her victory was stolen from her by the white devil. And she has worked tirelessly from that moment to this. And that's why Georgia is blue. And that's why those two pathetic senators won in that damn state. Let history show no other name other than Stacey Abrams. No other name. No other name. But they won. Well, we're supposed to all breathe a sigh of relief now. And go, thank God gridlock is over. Because Joe Biden can do what he wants now. And then if the Republicans don't go along, Kamala can break the ties, so it's fine. Until day one. Suddenly, we're still hearing this name Mitch McConnell. We're still hearing this gizzard neck ass. Why? We're hearing that. And then we're hearing, well, Joe Biden wants bipartisanship. So while you're not able to pay your rent and your shit is sitting on the curb and your kids are looking at you like, what are we going to eat? And many people don't have a job to go to. And down the list you can keep descending. They're saying unity is the most important thing now. Wow. From a people who have written laws And their whole agenda is to keep the whole damn thing divided, but certainly to keep African people at a disadvantage. And we're supposed to believe that this devil here, when is he born? When was Joe Biden born?
Joe Biden was born on November
1942. You see? So that means in at least 62, he was 20 years old. You see? Civil rights legislation hadn't even been signed then and all that. So he comes from that time. This is a white devil. You understand? And this picking Kamala was an easy thing for him. He wouldn't have picked a woman that had a black man at her side. He wouldn't have done that. Because white people understand what your black asses refuse to understand. Once you take one of them as your mate, you are no longer one of us. You're one of them now. You see, they get it. But your black ass has bought into this other fictional fantasy that they're selling you, that love sees no color, and it doesn't matter who you love and all that, and that's very essential to your very existence. It's essential to your existence that you be with someone of your own. Essential. A man must be with a woman, and an African must be with an African. Anything outside of that is against nature and the natural order that Allah shows us in creation that is screaming at us every single day. So it was no thing for him to pick her. So he's getting credit that he doesn't deserve, and so is she. She's not the first black vice president. Because blackness is not just your skin color, I tell you. It's not. Go watch professional bodybuilding. They literally paint their bodies to look like us. Because white pig skin does not show up well. Doesn't matter what you do to it. A brother shows up, he don't have to put any oil on, and all the striations and cuts in his muscles is just gleaming and perfect and beautiful. But they have to paint their bodies. They got somebody spraying them down, trying to get as dark as they can so they can win this thing or have any chance of winning. So being an African is to be of African thought and agenda and intention and purpose and endure. So a real African woman would have had an African man at her side. Kamala sold us out the moment she let a white penis penetrate her. We're done with you now, miss. We're done. We're done. We're done. And I don't know of any brothers that they have, so it's just her and her sister as far as I understand it. So the man that you knew in your life was a dark-skinned Jamaican black man. How do you go and pick someone who is the antithesis of your father? You don't get the credit without the work on anything, everybody. You don't get to be called black if you don't act it. And you don't get to be called the first black vice president if you've got a white man at your side. We just don't allow this. Real African people don't allow this. We understand. We understand. We see Allah's creation. Cats sniff other cats. I see you're a cat, but I gotta sniff you and make sure you're a cat. And then they mate and do whatever they do. Same thing with dogs. The day that a dog mates with a cat, it will be on, the internet will crash, and it will be on every major news channel. We've never seen this, and oh my God, and look, and it will be viral, and it will be, oh my God. The day that a carnation grows from the same stem as a rose, it will break the internet and it will be on every channel and it will be, oh my God, it will be viral and we've never seen it and it's never happened. We've never seen it. The divine has established order for all things in existence. And the people seducing humanity away from that authenticity, indeed that order, that decree, is these pig-colored people. Pig-colored. Would we say Joe Biden is a white man? Look at this picture. Does that look more like a pig or snow? Which one? Because his shirt is white. His skin is that of a pig. So let us be clear. Again, we're only dealing with the truth. But I digress. So now, him and their bed wench are elected and sworn in, and suddenly he can't get anything done. Wait just a second. I thought you said if all those people stood in a pandemic in lines across this damn country to elect your bitch ass, and God bless the people of Georgia who had to go and do it again, because you had to go out for the primary, then you had to go out for the general, then they had to go out for the runoff. That's a lot of damn voting. That's a lot of, in a pandemic, no less. And you now want to tell people you can't get anything done? They've put this impeachment crap up as first. That can be done in any courtroom across the country. You see what I'm saying? They need something of why they can't focus on you. Quick, quick, give us an impeachment. Yeah. Then after the impeachment's over, they will have some other excuse. And they're already building that in because why get right to the impeachment? Let's put that off to February, March. I don't know. I'm busy doing nothing right now. So let's put it off. But let's talk about it ad nauseum from now until then. But let's not talk about the people who are losing their homes, who are sleeping in their cars, who don't have food for their children, who are many months back rent is due. We don't want Bernie Sanders because he's actually going to do the shit that he campaigns on. He means it. We can't allow that. Now, Bernie is the head of the budget committee. He has power. But sadly, we can't depend on him to exercise that power. 'Cause what? Joe Biden is his friend. Bernie, recognize when you're at a damn gunfight and put your damn plastic knife away. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. And oh, by the way, he stood right there and told the people of Georgia, get them elected so we can get those $2,000 checks out the door. That was his language. That was his language. Listen, these yahoos that stormed the Capitol before all need to just die off. But the next people that storm the Capitol have nothing to live for. And when you come up against, that's one of the second most dangerous types of people you can ever encounter. And that is someone who has nothing to live, or feel they have nothing to live for. Nothing matters to them now. Nothing matters. So all the police and National Guard and Secret Service and Capitol Police and World won't matter at all. You're going to have people that are just going to take their lumps. and take their chances and storm this bitch. But they won't be looking to just break windows and stuff like that. They're going to be looking to take people out. Because they're sick and tired of them suffering, and the very people whose rent and everything else we pay for are just chilling and walking around with no sense of danger. No sense of danger. I've often said to you, because it is the truth, one of the problems with the American public is that your government doesn't fear you. Your government doesn't fear you, and that should be the case. They've made it exactly backwards. Your government should fear you. They should fear the people are coming to storm their shit when they don't do the shit that is the will of the people. That's the way it should be. That's what real democracy is. They'll never say that out loud. They'll never say that out loud. No, democracy is not where you get the stuff that you vote for and that is good for you and what you want. No, democracy is what we say it is when it serves us. It's not. It's not. He could have gone in there on day one and said, Medicare for all. Done. Because we watched the senators be sworn in. We watched Ossoff and Warlock, or whatever his name is, be sworn in. So the balance of power shifted already. But hear how the media immediately started speaking. Before they were even sworn in. Before there was even an inauguration. They were already tamping back expectations. Because they're all one cabal. One. Why don't you know where Don Lemon lives? Why don't you know that? We can punch up Kim Kardashian's house and Rihanna and just name anybody. Why don't you know where Don Lemon lives? Why don't you know where, Joy Reid's bitch ass lives at? Why don't we know where, just go down the list of people Anderson Cooper and Chris Cuomo, why don't you know where they live? Why don't you know? Why don't you know? Because they make it so. They make it so. And where they live is going to be amongst others that are part of the cabal. They don't have regular neighbors. That I promise you. They don't. And anything you're going to find on the internet is probably fake. It's all one cabal, everybody. A lot of people just found out about these hidden tunnels and escape routes and stuff that are under the White House or that are under the Capitol. A lot of people didn't know anything about that. I did. It's whole rail systems and everything, tunnels and all of it, all under the damn Capitol. A lot of people didn't know that. And while they mentioned it, you notice they didn't focus on it. But they had to mention it. It was almost unavoidable. They had to mention it. So you're supposed to be now wallowing in this glow of an image of some black woman, in quotations, who does not represent you, has long since been over you. Because listen, I'm a man. And sadly, I did not go to an HBCU. But the college I went to, the women I noticed were black women. That's just nature. So, there's no way I would have gone to Howard University and I ended up with a sister. You know what? I don't even have to go back that far. I can go back to my high school experience. Whenever I moved to upstate New York, I was still in high school. And it's the first time I was going to an all-black high school. And my locker was full of notes every day. Sisters trying to holler. Do you understand? So I've never believed, because 1 and 1 make 2, and they should. So, or the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, and when it doesn't, there's a problem. So the moment I understood that she had gone to Howard, then my sensories expect then she is going to have a black, either she's going to be not married and just dating, or she's got a black husband. Until she doesn't. And then it's like, okay, well then that's a purposeful thing. You did that on purpose. Because black people are too irresistibly good looking. Even the most unattractive of us is still attractive. Desirable. How do you go to Howard when you're not only going to be around not only just brothers, but brothers that they're pursuing an education at that, that are immediately your contemporaries, you know? You're on the same station of life, basically. How did you end up with a brother? How? And these brothers come from all over the country to go to Howard. Or any HBCU for that matter, but I'm just saying. You couldn't have found a brother. No brother. And then you meet this white devil on a blind date. It's another issue, and I've done it, but I move on just to say, you're supposed to be basking now in this fictional glow of some first. You know, ooh, look, Sonia Sotomayor was the one that swore her in. So it was 2 women of color, which I've already doused that with a grenade. That whole term. I'm over it. You know. And then they gave you this eloquent poet who was simply divinity incarnate. She was nothing less, and we take nothing from her. But she was also part of the glow. She was part of the glow. All this you're supposed to be, you know, seduced by the imagery of it all. So that you don't focus on the fact that there's no substance. It's like a car that looks really great on the outside. And you open the hood, there's no engine in it. You're like, they just got this thing sitting here like a prop, dude. It's not even no engine in it. What? Yeah, man, look. Ain't even no engine in it, yo. Like, what? It's just a prop. This is that. I've also learned that, and not surprisingly, because I told you he's a corporate candidate. A corporate candidate. And the corporate stopped giving him any money when his campaign was failing and crashing because nobody was supporting him. Nobody cared about Joe Biden. Nobody. And they pulled a Jedi mind trick on you, you know, with James Clyburn, with him come out, you know, we know Joe talk a lot of it. Joe Biden talk a lot of Joe Biden talk a lot of Joe Biden talk a lot of. That was it, and that was enough for feckless, non-self-educating, uninterested African people to support this devil. And then all the other people ran to his side, suspending their campaigns all in one chorus, and poof, it's Joe Biden for us. Anything but the man who will stand for the people. Anything but that. Now they want to blame it. They want you to think that Obama had this idea that he could work with these people, and it was all part of the charade. You'll be president. We can't deny that. Your popularity is there. But here's the system, Mr. Obama. We don't allow this government to do anything for the people. We will remain the nation that does, the only industrialized nation that does not provide universal health care for its people. We remain that people. We remain the country that wants our people to feel good about slaving all their damn life and retiring at the last 5 minutes, and then we give them a couple dollars and then they die off. That's how we run this. Get in line. And now it's back. They give you the semblance of something hopeful for 4 years at the very least. Then they bring back in a tyrant. They gave you Reagan. Then they gave you Carter. Then they gave you, I can't remember. I wasn't alive. Nobody cares. Anyways, they go from nice to tyrant, but they're all the same tyrant. You went from 8 years of Clinton to 8 years of Bush. You see, they started off right out the door with all their bullshit. Right out the door. Quick, and let's stage a terror attack 8 months in. And now it'll just be all wrapped up into war, and we'll throw this whole patriotism thing on them, and we can sit back and just get fat, and we don't have to do anything for these damn people who are a problem and wish they'd just die off. So that happened. Then the villagers were restless again. Quick, throw Obama at them. He tried. But he's still a black man. And he's actually a black man. Because I can validate him by looking to his left or his right and see his glorious black queen. You see, illuminating and giving. So we'll give you 8 years of that. And then now, let's bring in... They were only afraid of Trump at the beginning because they thought he's a billionaire. He doesn't really need to play our game. And the things he was saying on the trail, initially, it was him and Bernie. All the polls showed that the only person that beat Trump was Bernie Sanders. How many interviews did I see on independent media of Republicans who said they would definitely vote for Bernie because what they liked about Trump they saw in Bernie, but they picked Bernie over Trump because Trump was not a politician and they just felt like he didn't really have any experience. But here Bernie at least had legislative experience and stuff like that, and so that would make him the dude. Because they were kind of saying some of the same things. Till Trump realized, wait a minute, I could just take this whole thing and run with it, and his whole ego and his whole, all that, that's a whole nother book. He could have been, I will say this, I have to say this, so I'll be remiss. Trump could have gone down as the greatest president that ever was. For all the fantasy that he dreams up in his mind, he really could have been those fantasies. Because he has that I don't give a damn persona. Had he taken that same energy, like take no prisoners, it's my way or the highway, all that, and turn that to do righteous, he absolutely would have sailed into a second term, and he would have been the greatest president ever known to all of humanity. He's the only dude to ever hold the office that doesn't come from any political anything. He's the only dude that's never held office of anything and became president. That's U.S. Government 101. High school U.S. Government 101. At least 35 years of age, you have to be a citizen, and that's basically it. And poof, you could be president. But he squandered it. He squandered it. So after that dude, we definitely can't have Bernie come in because the climate is right. All those years that from 2016 that we've been saying he's a socialist and he's the worst thing ever, the people are waking up now. And now add to that this pandemic, Bernie stuff looks real attractive to everybody. Quick, we gotta get rid of him. So they roll in this dude. What has Joe Biden done with his first 24 hours in the White House? Not a damn. He has his work cut out for him. As sets out, that's what it says. Joe Biden has his work cut out for him as sets out to repair. Remember, there's a writer, an editor, and a publisher, and nobody caught this. I've never read it, and on my opening read, I find this. They didn't see it. Sets out to repair the damage done by former White Devil, the Orange Cheeto. What has Joe Biden done with his first 24 hours in the White House? Joe Biden has been sworn in as the 46th president, and that's an interesting number, by the way, too. Because remember, all your even numbers. You see, Obama was 44. Clinton was 42. You see, we can keep going. So something is happening on the odd and even, the odd and even, the odd and even. Goes back to what I told you. They give you this, what seems like it's supposed to be somebody nice, then they give you the tyrant. Then they give you somebody nice, then they give you the tyrant. So somebody like Trump comes in, or Bush, they loot the place. Tax cuts for the rich, they steal all the money, and in the 5 minutes after Joe Biden comes off, they say, we don't know how we pay for it. No, our season of looting for us only is over, and your asses don't get anything. So we don't know how we can pay for it. We just don't know. And we have to be fiscally responsible and all this nonsense they give you. You see? He and his vice president, fake ass, have already begun work on undoing several policies of the disastrous Trump administration, which ended in an attempted coup on the Capitol by far-right extremists. They still won't say terrorists. As I pointed out to you in previous work, not any charge have I seen by anybody. Nobody's been charged with terrorism. Nobody. Meanwhile, we haven't stormed anything. If I just call up the local precinct and say, we're going to start killing y'all ass every time you kill one of us, then you're making terroristic threats. That'd be the first thing out of their white pablum-puking mouths. But this is still a riot, and these are just extremists. But still, no word terror has been associated when the biggest terrorist on the planet is pig-colored people. That's a fact. You know, Jordan Klepper from Comedy Central was out talking to some of these Trump people. This describes white people in general. But this was perfect, because he's got a million of them. But he was asking this white bitch Trump supporter about, you know, why she wanted a woman to be. I never want a woman to be president because women have hormones. And she could just be on the wrong time of that month and boom, she'll push the button. That was her damn answer. And he says, so, but it's okay that all wars have been started. He goes, but all wars have been started by men, right? And then, of course, she had to look like a deer in headlights. She doesn't realize her own ignorance. This is indicative of them as a people. She's just a microcosm of the big spectrum. That's exactly what they are. The definition of hypocrite. The definition. So, I digress. Here they come with, we don't know how we pay for it. We can't do anything. And we're so intent. Even this is what really got me to do this video, because I learned that Chuck Schumer, who is now the majority leader of the Senate, he's now the Mitch McConnell dude. They're actually fighting over how they're going to share 50-50 power? Really, bitch? Really? That was just like, the mask is just completely off. It's just completely off. Like, it's a game, dude. This is why it's not going to just be these yahoos next time. It's going to be everybody. with the police, with the National Guard, with all the other, all of us are going to be storming that bitch. Everybody's going to storm their shit. Everybody in this country is going to storm their shit. What's this, January? By the summer, I promise you, there's going to be a major storming of these damn lawmakers. And I put the word lawmakers in quotations because that they're not. People have had it. We had 8 years of this orange Cheeto and all this nonsense, and now it's supposed to be over. And now we're supposed to be back to where we get the shit we vote for. And then we realize you're the same person. Nah. The writing's on the wall, everybody. Let's just look at this, though. The first 100 days of any presidency are regarded as a... Oh, I know what I was going to say. Because, well, I'll read it because it should come up. But I'll say this before I read anything. I didn't see anything he signed that was for right now. In fact, I know what I was provoked to say because it said he was undoing... he begun the work of undoing several policies that the Orange Tulip had done. Okay, that's fine. You can do that shit on your free time. You need to do the shit that we need done right now is what you need. That's what you need to be doing. All that stack of shit that was on his desk, none of it is for the people. None of it. There was something about immigration, which means nothing right now at all. The Muslim ban means nothing at all. I guess they'll talk about it. All right, the first 100 days of presidency are regarded as a vital benchmark against which effectiveness of a new administration can be measured. The term was first coined by Franklin Roosevelt in 1933, who passed 12 major laws within the first 100 days in the White House. The new president is planning to focus on coronavirus pandemic. Oh, that's the other thing they keep splashing up there. You know, the vaccine. Bitch, nobody's concerned about a vaccine. People are concerned about paying their rent and being able to put food on their table. They're not caring about a damn vaccine. Not caring. And that is all for their coffers. So they make money on this damn vaccine. That's what that's all about. Not because they give a damn. They need to make money on that vaccine. And when you can't get that needle into people's arms, we've got all this product that we can't do anything with. We got all this inventory. Damn it. Urgh. Nobody's buying the inventory. Quick, ramp up the fear. Tell them it's 1 billion people are going to be dead tomorrow if they don't get the vaccine. It's a game. Oh, and know this, everybody. You have to know something about the laws. This is another reason why your black ass is not getting the vaccine. Because they've also put, there's laws that are on the book that, depending on the vaccine and what it's for, determines whether or not you can have a lawsuit against the company if you have a adverse reaction to the vaccine. I don't remember the terminology because I'm just not good like that with anything in life. I just know the details of it. Like, I can tell you how to get someplace, but I can't tell you a street name. I don't know. I'm just somebody that needs to know the shit I need to know. So I'm consistent. So, but the way it works is, let's say a vaccine, in this particular case, the vaccine came up as a pandemic. It's in response to a pandemic. It's an emergency. So you would not, the laws that would protect you or give you the right to seek damages in a different scenario for a different vaccine for something else don't apply here. They're protected under the thing. And you'll remember that on one of the last stimulus packages, they wanted they had a clause that the Republicans were pushing for, that there wouldn't be any that you couldn't sue nobody. I can't remember what they called it. Anyways, just another reason why you don't need to get this damn vaccine. Because you get the vaccine and your arm falls off, they'll just look at you and say, well, there's nothing we can do. You don't have any right to sue, and therefore no court in the land will take up your case, or lawyer for that matter. So we have to be very aware. Let me just read on. The new president's planning to focus on the coronavirus, which has been sweeping through America at an alarming rate for the past year. Climate change. Again, nobody gives a damn. You see? Climate change don't have shit to do with their climate is going to change if they're going to do something for the people. Their climate is going to change. You understand? Their climate is going to change. Reconnecting with the estranged international relations and seeing through the impeachment of his predecessor in the first part of his presidency. Again, none of this has anything to do with what they call kitchen table issues. None of this does anything for you. None of it. What about people that are way worse off and they have children and a house and it's just not right, man. Biden's bitch ass will attempt to roll the clock back as much as possible to January 2017 when he and Barack left office following the election of Donald Tulip. What did he do in his first 24 hours? He did not waste any time once he got in the White House, signing a number of executive orders reversing a number of flagship Trump policies. It had nothing to do with you and I, though. During the first day, the new liar ended the Tulip's much maligned Muslim ban. And I'm a Muslim, and I don't care about this. You know, it's not the most important thing. It's important, absolutely. But it's not the most important thing. Because while you're signing this, nobody can travel here right now anyway, and nobody wants to travel here anymore because this is the seat of the damn virus. It's not a priority. It's like we're broke down on the side of the road and we know the car is out of oil. And there you are checking the air tire, the air pressure. Bitch, if you don't get up here and put some damn oil in this damn thing, like, what are you doing? That has nothing to do with anything. Or you're checking the light in the trunk or something, like, insignificant. This is that. Which barred entry to the U.S. for people from several Muslim majority nations. And what you need to know about that also is, and I think I brought it to you when I covered this before, because when you think Muslim countries, you automatically think a bunch of Mexican-looking Arabs. And you need to understand that there are many countries in Africa that are Muslim nations. You understand? Because that's our original way of life, not this Christianity bullshit. That's a fact. He also signed an order halting the construction of the wall along the Mexican border. One of the Tulip's most famous policies from 2016. Now, again, he signed an order halting, but he didn't sign an order to get you any damn relief. No order for that. But all this other stuff, an order. I can't. He signed 15 actions addressing the coronavirus pandemic, which have now killed 400,000 people in the United States. No, it hasn't. The liar's coronavirus plan would throw money into speeding up the delivery of vaccines and reopening schools, huh? Quick, get them back in school and get them back to slaving again. We don't want to give them anything of their own tax dollar. We need that for our cushy chateaus in Provence. You see? And we can wear Balenciaga and Dolce & Gabbana. No, we can't have this. His $1.9 trillion coronavirus rescue plan would give every American a stimulus check of $1,400. Remember, he said those $2,000 checks can go out the door. That's a lawsuit. That's a lawsuit, dude. That's a lawsuit. And there's people that haven't even gotten their original, the other damn check. And I want to say this too before I go any further. I want to shout out to all of my followers on Instagram, because there was a sister who I won't say, but you all know who it is. But there was a sister that reached out to me. Her and her little girl are having a really tough time. And I didn't blink, I sent her $100 immediately. And then I petitioned everyone who follows me on Instagram, could you please go and cash app her some money? And I want to say thank you to those of you who stepped up. May Allah preserve you and increase you. I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Because that's who I am, and that's what I preach, and that's how I live. And that's what I want my people to be as a whole. That's what we need to be. And I can tell you, the sister was eternally grateful. But my point is that there's people that didn't even get their original check. And he tried to pull like a sleight of hand, like a magician, like a David Blaine piece. You feel me? Because they was trying to represent he was signing an order for stimulus checks. No. That was just to speed up for the people who didn't get their $600. You see? So that was a lie. And I know it was an effective lie, because even my neighbor, I told you, I call him my uncle. Uncle texted me and said, I think they're going to be sending out another check. And I said, no, uncle, that was just for the people that haven't gotten the other $600 already. You see? So it's an effective little sleight of hand trickery they were trying to pull. Remember, the media is in collusion. They're in collusion. Look at the tone that they use when they just watch them, man. I always tell you all, watch television. Watch it. Because everything's in them four corners is meant for your ass. Everything about it is being staged. Everything about it. Everything. The plan would also boost the vaccine rollout programs by $20 billion. Now, you want $20 billion to be spent on a rollout vaccine, or you need $20 billion to pay your rent right now? I'll just take a poll. One of his benchmark promises is to vaccinate 100 million Americans in the first 100 days. Not doing it. The new president's COVID plan. Oh, by the way, one of these quote unquote lawmakers, who did I see? There's an economist that I follow. I don't know if he's an economist. One of the brothers was asking me some time back about stocks, and I just was inspired to follow this dude because he gives stock information. I thought I would learn some things. Anyways, it might have been him, was saying that he was quoting, I don't know if it was Republican or Democrat, but again, it doesn't matter, was saying that they want to attach the stimulus check to the vaccine. Like they'll give you the check if you get the vaccine. Huh. Wow. That's not official, but somebody did speak it. The new president's COVID plan also includes setting up thousands of vaccine sites in gyms, community centers, and sports arenas. And I'm sure these black churches are just greasing their ass up to be sites to put a needle in the arms of the damn people. These fake ass Christian churches. Wow. He is also expected to mobilize the National Guard to help in any state struggling to roll out the vaccine. Really? The president said a crisis of deep human suffering is in plain sight and there's no time to waste. Really? Because we didn't hear nothing about no money. We have to act, and we have to act now. These are just words, everybody. They're just words. They're just words. And remember, everybody up here is a damn lawyer. You understand? Actually, I think he might not be a lawyer. Let's look him up. I think Joe Biden, I think that's his distinction, that he's not a lawyer. I told you, most of these people you see on TV, all these commentators and hosts and shit, most of these people are lawyers, dude. They're lawyers. They are lawyers. Most of your people in Congress and stuff like that, most people have law degrees. You understand? That's why you need to stop letting your children go into sports and stuff that doesn't mean anything. You know, they need to be lawyers because you can do a lot with a law degree and or a business degree. You understand? Did Joe Biden go to law school?
Yes, Joe Biden attended the Syracuse University College of Law, the
Boom.
University of Delaware, and Archmere Academy.
Yeah, I did know that, now that she mentioned it. Yeah, so they're all lawyers. They're all lawyers. Did Jill Biden go to law school?
Yes, Jill Biden attended the University of Delaware, Villanova University, Westchester University,
Boom.
University of Delaware, and Upper Moreland High School.
You see, these are all lawyers standing up there. They're all lawyers. Everybody's a lawyer. Literally, everybody's a lawyer. Everybody's a lawyer. Michelle Obama, lawyer. Barack Obama, lawyer. Bill Clinton, lawyer. Hillary Clinton, lawyer. All these people, lawyer. The Jedi, lawyer. All lawyers. They're all lawyers. You understand? Elsewhere, Biden joined the U.S. with the Paris Climate Accord. It means nothing to us. A move hailed by British Prime Minister, and nobody cared. All right, in the coming days, the liar is expected to get working on repairing several damaged reputations of the U.S. with calls to several world leaders, and nobody cares. His first call will be to the Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, and nobody cares. Other priorities include withdrawing from the federal legal case enacted by the Cheeto to end Obamacare. I'm over it. You see, he's done nothing. Nothing for the people. Nothing for us. Nothing. I'm so glad I read that. Yeah, so I read all of this. So again, he's done nothing, and they're going to now give you nothing but gridlock, everybody. And I am hoping and suggesting that even the most dead amongst us are going to see this and go, wait, they just told us we was fighting for 4 years to get rid of Trump. Then the next thing we needed to do was get the majority in the Senate. We did that. So now it should be about us until it's not. I remind you that from the very beginning of this pandemic, Bernie Sanders introduced a bill that would have given everybody $2,000 a month for the entire length of however long the pandemic lasted, and then it was worded to extend it 3 months after that. So whenever it ended, you would still get it 3 months after that even. You see, I don't want to put my business out there, but I will tell you that I do not pay no damn $2,000 in rent. But I offer that because there are people that are paying that for rent. For rent. For rent. I'm over it. That's outrageous. It's outrageous. You got people out there that are driving newer cars that maybe they got sometime before the pandemic and all of it, and now they lost their job and they can't make their car payment, and it was just the one car, and maybe it's a single mom or a single dad, or maybe it is a full family, but now they can't afford the car. And I mean, there's all kinds of nightmare scenarios you could conjure that are really happening to people. People need relief, man. They need it. they need it. And sadly, the little the little $1,400 is not really going to be enough. It's never been enough. If it had been reoccurring, that would have been a relief for people. But that first $1,200 they sent out, and then it was good for people to have children because then they got so much per child and all that, and that was cute, you know. And same thing for the this last one they did. The kids got a certain amount, and then the adults got a certain amount, and so that was all fine. That was righteous, you know. I remind you, at the same time they gave you $600, they gave $480 billion for the goddamn military. Who are we fighting during a pandemic? Why do you need a military during a pandemic? Somebody answer that for me. Help me understand. Because it wasn't for the military, and that wasn't for military families. That was for Raytheon and Lockheed Martin and Boeing, and you see, they got that so their CEOs could have their lofty bonuses and shit, and they can shuttle off to Provence and, Milan and shit. That's what's going on, everybody. A lousy $600? What does $600 pay for in your life? I'd just like to know that. Like, whatever comment you put on this video, tell me what $600 pays for in your life. And know that I make the statement with this understanding. I'm someone who picks up every copper penny that I see, and I say, Allahu Akbar. I give glory and praise to Allah for even a copper penny. Because why would I be arrogant? Oh, that penny's nothing. It's just a penny, and I wouldn't pick it up? But who amongst us would not push the other heifer down if we saw a $100 bill blowing across the you push somebody down for that. I pick up coin when I see it, and I give glory and thanks as if I just found a $100 bill. I do. I live in a state of gratitude. And one of my constant prayers to the divine is never let me be ungrateful. Never let me be ungrateful. Never let me be ungrateful. And what the universe has taught me is that if you're not grateful for the little things, you do not get the big things. You don't get them. That is a firm law of the universe. You must be grateful for the little things. So I say that to say, while we critique the $600, if it was just $6, we should be grateful. We should be grateful. We should be grateful. And indeed, you can drive anywhere in your city and see homeless people. Certainly $600 is a lot of money to them, Everything is in layers and context. Yeah, is $600 a lot for Beyonce? I doubt it. She's got that in the lint of her navel somewhere. It means nothing, I found $600. Yeah. But to somebody else, that's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So, but with that wisdom, I still would like to know, what does $600 mean to you? What does it pay for in your life? And be in the mind that they constantly remind you this is the wealthiest nation that's ever existed. And why wouldn't it be? Because they found a way to heist the people. You're paying tax out of your hard-earned labor. They're not there with you on those rainy days when your car wouldn't start and you had to catch the bus to work, you had to walk in the snow, or it was a thunderstorm and you couldn't get a babysitter and you were an hour late and all of that. They still take out of your damn check. People are taking money from you that weren't there, that didn't share in the labor. If I work 100 hours in a week, damn it, I want 100 hours worth of pay to take home. Which reminds me, he also wafted on the $15 an hour. He said he wants, even in his inauguration speech, he wanted $15 an hour, but then it turned into just for government workers. Well, government workers make a pretty nice little chunk of change already. You see, it's the sister struggling at McDonald's on the fryer that needs that $15. She's just gonna need that. She's just gonna need that. But they heist the people. They take money out of your check. Then if you're one of these people who don't have a bank account, then you got to go to the check cashing place and pay somebody else to get your own money. Then you go buy like a Snickers and you got to pay tax on that. And if you're blessed enough to have a car, then you got to pay tax on the gas. You know, they just tax the shit out of you. So they get a check on every single transaction in your damn life. But yet, in the middle of a pandemic, you can't get any financial relief. The Jedi has spoken.